Hello and welcome to Rathods IS. Today in this session, we are going to see current affairs of 27th December 2023. So here we are going to see the edition, that is Delhi edition, and we are going to pick out the articles, and I will be giving you the dimensions from both prelims and mains perspective, and I will be telling you like from which area you can get a question and how you have to prepare from that topic. And we will be also going to learn like how to interconnect one subject with another subject. That interlinking will be helpful for improving of your thought process. Okay, without wasting any time, so let us start our analysis. So this is front page of The Hindu, and here you can see article. It is about attackers of merchant vessels will be brought to justice soon, says our Rajnath Singh. So actually what happens, so whenever the merchant ships you are moving through this Bab el Mandab, okay, through this Bab el Mandab, so they are being attacking, right? So I will be showing you the important dimensions you have to think here. So here this article is talking about attack of merchant ships. Merchant vessels. So what are the dimensions that you have to think? So the one important dimension here is you have to see the map location. Okay, so this attack it is done by Houthis. So these Houthis, they belongs to Yemen. So why these Houthis are attacking these vessels which are moving there? Because of this Israel-Palestine issue. And these Houthis, now they are supporting this Palestine. Okay, so in map location what you have to see here? You have to see Gulf of Aden, and you have to see Bab el Mandab, so this Bab el Mandab is very important strategically. And it is one of the important choke point. And about 13% of the world trade which will be moving to this Bab el Mandab. And it is very important even for India. So why it is important for India? So we are dependent on crude oil imports, yes or no? So we are getting most of the crude oil from, for example, West Asian countries. So this crude oil will passes through this route. Okay, through this route. And one more important cause of concern now here is, one more important dimension that you can think from India perspective, like we can change the route. So instead of coming from this Bab el Mandab, so we can use Cape of Good Hope. Okay, so this is Africa, right? So we can divert this route and we can enter into India like this. But the problems are many. The problems here is, the first one is increasing of distance of travel. So increasing of distance of travel. So whenever there is increasing of distance of travel, what happens? Transportation cost will be increased. There will be increased transportation cost, and whenever the increasing of transportation cost, we can see there will be increasing of crude oil prices. So whenever crude oil prices is increasing, that will lead to inflation. So whenever we can see the inflation again, now 2 points, government need to take measures and even RBI need to take measures, fiscal policy and monetary policy. So here if you have observed here, so I said about lot of dimensions here. First one I said about map based things, and next I talked about the rebel organizations. So here there is a chance of getting question like you have to see which are the terrorist organization. For example, we have LET, we have JEM, so Houthis, okay. So you have to see from which country they are operating. And I said about what will be the impact on India. And even I said about economy point here. And even there is one more issue here is you can also see about what is the role of Navy and Coast Guard to maintain security. So actually now one important topic which is always in news is providing safety and security. Providing safety and security in Indo-Pacific region. And most of the Western countries, they are focusing on this Indo-Pacific region, and especially the countries sharing boundary with this Indo-Pacific region, they have to play a very important role in providing safety. So all these are the dimensions that you have to think about this topic. I hope it is very much clear. So if you have any doubts, so please let me know in the comment box. Okay. Yes. Now let us move back to the front page. So again, one more article here is fiscal deficit may breach 5.9% of GDP. So what are the dimensions you have to think? So this article is what most important. So what are the dimensions here is? It is talking about fiscal deficit. Yes or no? So you have to know what exactly the meaning of the fiscal deficit. So here the meaning you have to know about expenditure and revenue. So whenever expenditure is more compared to that of revenue, this condition is called as fiscal deficit. And you have to know like, so what are the reasons? You have to know what are the reasons for this fiscal deficit and what will be the impact. So what are the positives and what are the negatives? So from prelims point of view, you can get question from this meaning. And from mains, you can get question from this reasons and analysis point. Okay, so this is important from your economy. And even we can connect this topic with international relations. But how? So I will show one thing. Okay, so I think you may be surprised here. So what happens whenever we are facing this fiscal deficit? Country is spending more compared to that of its revenues. Then what happens? So the choice which is present before the government will be like to go to other countries and we can borrow. Yes or no? We can borrow from other countries. Either we can get grant in aid or whether we can get line of credit, or if you are facing this balance of payment crisis, you can approach IMF. So from this point of view also we can connect with international relations. Okay, so this is the thing that you have to remember. And next topic is railways spending big on PM selfie booth, says RTI reply. So the key word here is RTI. So this article is very important, especially if you are studying this ethics. So please let me know how many of you started ethics. So in ethics we have 7th chapter. I don't know how many of you gone through the syllabus, but in ethics we have 7th chapter. So it is talking about probity and governance. So what it is? Probity and governance. So in that topic here, we have to ensure accountability and transparency. Okay, so in that chapter you will be studying about RTI Act of 2005. So this is one important area where you can connect this article. And next one is in your governance part. In your governance you will be seeing this topic called as accountability and transparency. So in this accountability and transparency topic, you have to connect with this RTI Act. Okay, so from these two areas we can connect this topic. And now what you have to read in this topic? So the first one here is so you have to see what is the background. And you have to see some important sections. So what are the provisions and which information is exempted and what are the advantages? Okay, so all these things that you have to see. From ethics, there you have to see one extra topic. So that which is that extra here, which you can add here is role of civil servant. Role of civil servant in ensuring accountability and transparency to this RTA Act. So what are the steps that can be taken? So all these things are very, very important, and especially this RTA Act topic is important from your mains. So you can't expect prelims question, but you can expect a mains question regarding this topic. That is at most important. Okay, so these are some important dimensions that you have to think about. And next topic is anti-militancy operations in Poonch enter 6th day. So actually there are some important areas, okay, where we can see insurgency will be happening. So one such area here is Jammu and Kashmir. So Jammu and Kashmir always it is a cause of concern for India, because we will be seeing military activities are going on. And we will be seeing the problems like insurgency, terror attacks. For example, Pulwama attack happened in 2019. Okay, terror attacks and even killings of civilians. So if you go to the background, here we have to connect this topic with reorganization of princely states, or like you can talk about integration of princely states. So this topic we can connect with integration of princely states. So actually when we got independent, okay, during 1947, so one important challenge that was present before government of India is to integrate these princely states. So at that time some princely states had been easily integrated, but some they are very difficult. For example, Junagadh, next one is Hyderabad, next one is Jammu and Kashmir. So finally Raja Mahar Singh, he signed instrument of accession, and finally this Jammu and Kashmir had been integrated, right? And at that time he asked for special category status. Okay, so with that government came with Article 370 and Article 35A. So it's talking about special category status, and at that time they said that it will be a temporary provision. Okay, it will a temporary provision, and had been removed in 2019, and even Supreme Court said that this action of government is right, that is valid. So here you have to know what are the reasons for this militancy. So what are the reasons for militancy? And this one is, so how it is increasing fiscal burden on the state exchequer, because we have to go for staying army there to protect our borders. So for that we are spending a lot. For example, you can say like for equipment, for technology. And even one more problem here is Jammu and Kashmir. You are seeing these drone attacks recently, and also smuggling of goods. Okay, and even they are going for tunnels constructions to enter into India. Okay, so these are the problems, and you have to see what are the measures, and you have to see like what are the measures can be taken. So these all are very important, and these are the dimensions. So I connected this topic with defense, internal security, and as well as international relations and even polity. Okay, so this comes in this polity part, and this comes under post-independent India part. So we connected like 3 to 4 subjects here. So in this way you have to connect the topics. Clear? And if you move on, there is nothing much important in the city page, and you can go to the states page. So the states page also I found most of the articles are political articles. They will fetch you nothing. So don't spend much time on the irrelevant articles. So spend efficient and quality time on the topics which are important only. And here you can see this topic. It is about the outlook for 2024 for the world and India. So this article I like the most in today's paper. So this article is giving insights like what are the challenges that we are facing now and how this 2024 will be, because we are going to celebrate New Year soon. So just 4 days to go. Yes or no? Yes or no? And this New Year, it is very special to me because I am going to celebrate this year with my 2 kids for the first time. Okay. So here this article says that this 2024 New Year, it is going to bring new challenges. So what are the challenges that are described here very clearly, and we are going to see. So I will give you some dimensions here so that if you want you can make a note. So it is talking about 2024. Before that, what can we write? So challenges of 2024, okay. Okay, challenges of 2024. So you can divide that into internal challenges and external challenges. Okay, internal challenges and external challenges. So tell me, what are the problems we are facing in India? Yes, we are facing Maoism or Naxal attacks in some areas of Chhattisgarh, and we are facing inflation, and there is decreased exports, problems in education sector and health sector, and we are going to have general elections. We don't know which party will come into power, so we have general elections. So these are some of the internal problems. And what are the external problems? You can talk about Russia-Ukraine crisis, and next one is, so India and Russia drifting apart. So we are moving away from Russia and we are moving towards USA. And next one is now present Israel Hamas conflict. And you can talk about security in Indo-Pacific region. And you can talk about India-China relations. So till now there is no status quo. You can talk about climate change. And related events. These are no related weather events. And even we can see there is downfall of relations between India and Canada. and there are some problems with India entry to get permanent seat in United Nations Security Council. So all these problems are not exactly given, but I am listing out. So if you want to write an essay like what are the challenges of India, you can write all those things. And even externally we can also talk about Rohingya issue and insurgency problem. And internal issue, you can talk about the problem of drug trafficking. And you can talk about problems of monsoon. This year we have El Nino. And because of climate events that led to decreasing of food production. So these are some important challenges that we are going to face even 2024. So if you want to add any points, so please let me know your opinions or perspectives in the comment box so that we can add that as well. So try to be interactive and please let me know how you are feeling with these sessions, whether it is useful or not. So if it is useful, please let me know useful in the comment box so that will be encouraging me and even others will be knowing like so how our classes will be going on, because most of the students, they have the tendency of reading comments, okay, while watching the video. So please give the comments which will be useful to even others also. Like exactly give me your review in the comment box daily, okay. So this is about this topic, and next topic it is about new economics for inclusive growth. So the key word here is inclusive growth. So here you have to understand what is the meaning of inclusive growth. I will be giving you dimensions, don't worry. So it is talking about inclusive growth. So you have to know what exactly is the meaning of this inclusive growth. And you can see how can we bring this inclusive growth. And now if you want to improve this inclusive growth, what are the impediments that you are seeing? Like what are the challenges? There is lack of skill. There is lack of infrastructure. And there is increased unemployment rate. So these are the some challenges. And you have to see like what measures government taken already. And what is the way forward. So all these things are very important, and this topic is important from your mains. It is important from your mains. So we are going to see this topic in detail, don't worry. And in this opinion page I found nothing which is important. And in text and context you can see this article, it is regarding are graduates facing unemployment. So this unemployment is very important topic, and even in your economy you will be having a separate chapter on this unemployment. Okay, so you have to see what is this unemployment. So you have to see what is the meaning of unemployment. For example, according to IMF, according to RBI, according to World Bank. So when you are writing definition, so try to write authenticated or standard definition. And after writing the meaning, you have to see like, so what are the reasons for unemployment? And you have to see through which age groups. Through which age groups there is high level of unemployment. And even you can see like what are the causes. What are the causes of unemployment and what are the different types of unemployment. And you have to see what are the measures taken by government. And how we have to reduce this unemployment rate. And one more thing here you can see is, what is the impact of unemployment? You have to see what is the impact of unemployment. So all these dimensions are very, very important, and you have to cover each and everything. So this is your homework, students. And there is one more article. It is about what does China's 2024 economic policy look like. So actually here 2023 Chinese Central Economic Work Conference, they focused on stability oriented approach for economy, and they want to focus on export led growth to domestic demand, and they want to maintain the collaboration with international markets. So if they are having the collaboration with international markets, they will be getting access to the market so that they can improve their exports. So this is the ideology of China. And they are focusing on new pattern of employment, and they want to boost domestic consumption while maintaining complementary relation with international demand. So they have to focus on how to increase the domestic demand, and they also want to focus on how to maintain good relationship with the other countries. And they are also focusing on high quality economic growth, and in this high quality economic growth they have to focus on development versus population increase demand for the better life. So we have to focus on the demand, and they are also focusing on how to improve the standard of living. So that is nothing but better life. So all these things are very, very important, okay, regarding this Chinese policy of 2024. And if you move on here, you can see one article that is about TB burden. Okay, so this is very, very important article actually. So whenever you are reading science and technology, you will be coming across chapter of diseases. So in this diseases, we will be studying about two types of diseases. So first one is communicable, and second type here is non-communicable. So first one is communicable disease and second one is non-communicable disease. So communicable means whenever you are communicating with others, if there is a chance of spreading of disease, such type of disease are called as communicable. So non-communicable means even if you are communicating with others or shaking hands or hugging or kissing, that will not cause the transfer of disease or transmission of disease. So we have examples like diabetes mellitus, okay, DM, that is diabetes, hypertension, that is BP, kidney damage, liver damage, etc. But here communicable disease, like we have many diseases like COVID-19, influenza, swine flu, Ebola, etc. So if we talk about TB, it comes under this communicable disease. So through the droplets, whenever the patient who is coughing or sneezing, so whenever any person coming in contact with the droplets, then that will lead to transmission of this TB. So here you have to see like TB. What is this TB? So which is a causative organism? That is Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So it is an organism which causes this TB. And you have to see like what is the treatment. In treatment we have first line drugs and second line drugs. Isoniazid, rifampicin, streptomycin, etc. But the cause of concern regarding this TB is treatment is long. So you have to take minimum 6 months of antibiotic treatment. So because of this, it is into antibiotic resistance. So this is one important problem. And in this also we will be having different types. XDR, multi-drug resistance, and we have critically multi-drug resistance like that. Okay, and even this TB is seen highly in news in the recent days because of one drug, bedaquiline. So because of this bedaquiline which is seen in news. So actually this is manufactured by J&J, that is Johnson & Johnson, and they want to increase the patent and has not been accepted by WHO. So because of this is in news, and you have to see this topic in detail. And the states page, you can see this article, it is about returning my Khel Ratna and Arjuna award, says Vinesh Bhogart. So here you have to know about what are these awards, Khel Ratna and Arjuna award, because already the question which appeared in 2023 prelims regarding this award, so you can't expect or you can't predict, so we have to know about that. And next topic is PM discusses maritime security with Saudi Arabia or Saudi Prince. So actually maintaining of stability in this Indo-Pacific region is very important. So because of that, here we are focusing on coming up with good relations with these West Asian countries to maintain safety and security in this Indo-Pacific region. And next topic is India-Russia Inc. key pacts related to Kudankulam nuclear power plant. So actually here you have to know about what are the important areas of cooperation between India and Russia. So I will tell you dimensions, you can make a note, don't worry. So this article is talking about India-Russia relations. Okay, so this article is important from GS paper to IR. So you have to see like what is the background or history. So when you are studying about the background, even name is important. And next one is you have to see areas of cooperation. And also you have to see like challenges. And actually you have to see like what are the collaborative projects. Between India and Russia. So one such project is Kudankulam nuclear project. So please let me know in which state we have this Kudankulam power plant. Okay, that's it. And if you move on, yes, here you can see one important article, that is ICMR initiates steps for non-invasive testing method to tackle this anemia. So here you have to focus on what is this ICMR and you have to focus on this anemia. So anemia is a condition where is low hemoglobin level. Okay, so you have to see what will be the impact of this anemia. Okay, what is the impact of this anemia and what are the ways that we can address this problem of anemia. So please think about this topic once. And here you can see one article, that is narrowing of trade deficit cut India's current account deficit to 1% of GDP. So if we are talking about trade deficit, trade includes two important components, imports and exports. So imports are more competitive of exports, that is called as trade deficit. Whenever exports is more competitive of imports, that is called as trade surplus. So we are in these conditions, imports are more competitive of exports. Okay, so that is about this topic. And these are at most important topics that had appeared in our today's newspaper. And these are the dimensions that you have to think about. So if everything is clear, so please give me your valuable suggestion or review regarding this class. And even my request for you students is, if you really like this class, hit the like button for sure. Don't leave this session without liking the video. And please do comment. And whoever watching this video, my request is do comment. And even if you find this video is useful to you, So please do at least share to a single person, okay, who is your best friend. With your best friend, please try to share this video. And if you want to get the notes of this class, you can join the Telegram channel, which is given in description box. Okay, so this notes that you can get, and this notes is very important, okay, because even if you are watching the class, sometimes you may not have the time to make the notes, right? So you can simply download this PDF that we are posting. So this topic is talking about physical deficit, and I gave you the dimensions, and we are going to see what is the meaning of physical deficit. So what is the meaning of this physical deficit? It is nothing but the difference between government's total expenditure and revenue. The total expenditure and revenue, and it is excluding borrowings. So it is very important. And why we are measuring this physical deficit? To know how our economy is. So to know about the health of our economy, so we are having the different parameters. So one such a parameter is to measure this physical deficit. So this physical deficit is an indicator of the extent to which government must borrow. So based on this physical deficit, government will be deciding like whether we have to go for borrowing or not. And next one is, what is this high or low physical deficit? So high physical deficit, which leads to a condition called as inflation. So what is the meaning of inflation? Tell me in the comment box. And next one is, what is this devaluation? Okay, so because of this high physical deficit, that will lead to inflation, and that will lead to devaluation of the currency. So because of these two things, that will lead to increasing of debt burden. And next one is, while a lower physical deficit is seen as a positive sign for fiscal discipline. So if you want to analyze the health of economy, so we need to have low physical deficit. Low physical deficit means we are having a good healthy economy. And what are the positive aspects of this physical deficit? So we can understand that government increases the spending. Okay, government expenditure had been increased. So fiscal deficit enables the government to increase the spending on public services. It can focus on infrastructure development and other important areas that can stimulate the economic growth. Okay, so we are having, for example, low physical deficit. So we can go for developmental projects. We can go for building of infrastructure. So that is the thing which mainly said. And this one is finances public investment. So government can finance long-term investment if it is having low physical deficit. And even it can focus on creation of jobs. So whenever government is spending in so and so thing like developmental projects, automatically it will lead to the increasing of employment opportunities. And what are the negative aspects? So what happens whenever there is high physical deficit? So whenever there is high physical deficit, that will lead to increasing of debt burden. And whenever there is a persistent high physical deficit, that will lead to increase in the government debt. And because of this, further it will be increasing on the pressure on the future generation to repay the debt, right? And next one is inflationary pressure. So here large physical deficit, that will lead to increase in the money supply, and that will lead to higher inflation. So because of this, that will lead to decreasing of purchasing power. And even there is a crowding of private investment. So the government may have to borrow heavily to finance physical deficit. So whenever they are borrowing more, that will lead to increasing of interest rates. So whenever there is increasing of interest rates, that will make difficult for the private sector to access credit. And even we can see there will be leading to the decreasing of private investment. And next one is, because of this high physical deficit, that will lead to balance of payment crisis. That means, so here we can't even repay the loans. Okay, so at that time here we have to go and approach IMF. Okay, so this is about balance of payment. And next topic, it is about RTI. So we are going to discuss about this PM selfie booths. So before seeing this topic, I want to ask you one question. So how many of you took selfie with this PM selfie booths? So please let me know in the comment box. Till now I did not have that opportunity. I didn't get that opportunity. So I don't know whether in future I will be having this selfie with this PM selfie booth or not. So please let me know whether you had a selfie with this PM selfie booth or not. In the meanwhile, I will have some water. So what is this article about? So one RTI file, that is right to information, had been filed to know about the spending on this PM selfie booths. So it said that union government is spending around 6.25 lakhs for every permanent 3D selfie booth with Prime Minister Modi's image at the railway station. So this is a information which is given by Central Railway on this RTI application. So I hope you can see these images. So these are the selfie booths. Okay. So if we are talking about this Right to Information Act, so it is derived from the fundamental rights of freedom of speech and expression. So actually it comes under Article 19 of our Indian Constitution, which talks about right to freedom of speech and expression. So if we do not have the information on how our government is working or public institutions are working, so we cannot express any informed opinion on it. So here it is the right of the people to get information like what government is doing, because ultimately people, they are paying the taxes, so they need to know about what the government is doing with their taxes. And this one is the basic object of Right to Information Act. It is to empower the citizen, and even it is focusing on promoting of accountability and transparency. And this act which is focusing on requisiting information, that means whichever information that we need, so we can file RTI to get that information, and even there will be a time period for which information must be provided. And next one is the method which they are using to give the information is very important, and even the charges for applying it. So charges should be very minimum so that everyone they can file for RTI. And next one is there should be exemption of information will not be given. So there are some information which is very helpful for the security of India, like how many members they had been deployed, so where are these air bases or army bases are present. So that information cannot be given because it will be undermine the safety and security of the India itself, right? And what are the key provisions? There are some sections. First one is Section 4 of RTI Act, which requires suo motu disclosure of information by each public authority. They have to disclose the information. And Section 8 subclass 1, which also mentions exemptions against furnishing information under RTI Act. And this one is Section 8 subclass 2, which provides for disclosure of information exempted under Official Secrets Act. So these are some important and key provisions. And why we need this strong RTI? So why we need this RTI? Because the ideal of government by the people makes it necessary, because the people, they need to get the information, and the government and public servants, they are responsible or they are accountable to the public. So here the public, they have the right to know the information. And whenever there is a free flow of information about affairs of government, that will lead to the debates, okay, good healthy debates on this public policies, and it will lead to the accountability in government. And even it will create a condition for open governance, which is a foundation of democracy. So all these things are very, very important. So because of this, yes, we need a strong RTI. And next one is about what are the challenges that we are facing and that we are going to face in 2024. So I gave you the detailed idea. So those points that you can add. So there are like 4 to 5 points which are given in this article that we are going to see. So this article is talking about global risks and uncertainties in 2024. So author says that even this 2024 new year, which is going to be less safe and uncertain, when we are comparing with even previous 2 years, because of this war in Ukraine which has not been stalled, and even in the Middle East also there is issue which is going on between Israel and Hamas. And the situation is already changing in this geopolitics of West Asia. So actually because of this Russia, China and Iran conundrum, okay, so there's shifting of politics which is seen here. And even China and India relations, they are not much good now because of this line of actual control issue. And next one is China remains convinced that India is already part of US dominated anti-China alliance. So because of this also we are not coming up with status quo across this LAC region. And next one here is So Chinese economy just continues to decline, but even though it want to rewind this economy. And here if you see Russia-China axis, which is also becoming stronger day by day. So whenever there is good nexus between Russia and China, so it will be having impact on India-Russia relations as well. Okay, so this is about the situation. And even if you see, India is sharing direct boundary with Afghanistan, but it is coming under Pak-occupied Kashmir. So here Afghanistan also we are seeing lot of issues like closing of embassy, etc. And even in our Nepal, Bangladesh and Maldives, so they have some pressure which is put by this China, and because of this, these countries they are going to reduce their dependence on India soon. And if you see in the West Asia, it is possible exemption of UAE, that India's influence appear to be diminishing. So only in UAE and Oman there is increasing of India's exposure or India's influence, but in other areas there is decreasing here. And as more here West Asian countries they break free from clutches of West and to gravitate towards China and Russia. So in this context, India's position become more tenuous, that means less. So these are some important things which are said by this author. So please make a note of all these points. And next topic it is about inclusive growth. So this is a very important topic of the day. It is very important. And even in your economy also you will be studying about this thing called as inclusive growth. And even whenever government coming up with any schemes here, they will be focusing on this inclusive growth. So from that point of view, it is very important. So what is the meaning of this inclusive growth? So inclusive growth, it is about making sure that everyone will be getting benefits, okay, from economic growth. That means we can see indirectly poverty, hunger, malnutrition will be reduced and increasing of standard of living of the people. And we can create jobs and such that we can reduce the poverty. So growth should be benefit the large part of the country's workforce, and especially inclusiveness means giving everyone equal opportunity. So we are giving everyone equal opportunity to access markets. So they can access markets, they can access resources and fair regulatory environment for business and as well as individuals. And the main focus it is on creating productive employment. So you are focusing on increasing productive employment rather than simply distributing income. So they are not focusing on just redistributing income, but we have to focus on productive employment opportunities. And it's not just limited to creating more jobs, but we have to increase productivity. So this is the actual meaning of inclusive economy. So now let us see like what are the elements of this inclusive growth. So we have to focus on reduction of poverty, industrial development, reduction of regional departments or disparities, environmental protection, employment generation, agricultural development, social sector development and equal distribution of income. So all these are important elements of this inclusive growth. And if you see dimensions here, we have different dimensions like social dimension, economic dimension, political dimension, environmental dimension, stakeholders. So who all are included here? Like we have government, private sector, NGOs, civil society and media. So all these people are involved in providing this inclusive growth. And from environmental point of view, how this inclusive growth should be defined. So we have to reduce wastage, we have to focus on sustainable development, we have to focus on protection and conservation of this flora and fauna and inclusion of future generations' need. And from political point of view, we have to focus on long-term perspective and planning, and we have to go for transparent and efficient governance, and we have to focus on ensuring the safe borders and beyond discrimination, zero corruption. And as if you see this economic point of view, financial literacy and inclusion, agriculture development, quality employment, connectivity and communication, resilience to external shocks. So all these are economic related perspectives. And social regarding perspectives are, the first one is we have to focus on education. So education, skill development, health and gender parity, regional parity. So all these things are included in this society point of view. And if you see like what are the factors that are affecting the inclusive growth. So the factors are, the first one is inequity. So there are fundamental inequalities in the society. Okay, there are fundamental inequalities in the society that cannot be explained by individual differences. So we are focusing on socio-economic and political structures. They play a very important role in sustaining inequalities, and that will focusing on hindering of development. And even we have focus on social exclusion. Social exclusion is very important. So your social exclusion or inclusion, which is a complex, and it is even tied to social and relational context of individuals. And next one is social structures. They will promote inequality and exclude certain individuals from participating in social life. And we can focus on this marginalization and exclusion that will exist even in the economically developed countries. So because of this exclusion, that will affect the opportunities of certain groups. And even we can focus on the poverty. So poverty will be impacting the poor the most. Okay, so if you are going for exclusion, that will be having devastating impacts. And this one is disparities. So whenever you are moving from one region to another region, there are disparities. So we have to decrease that disparities. So why there are increasing of disparities? Because of climate, because of geography, because of topography, because of resource, because of economic development. So we need to focus on inclusive growth there. And even socio-cultural factors like values, traditions, so they will encourage or discourage this social and economic mobility. So here we have to understand what are the policy measures. For example, we have to focus on these constitutional provisions like Article 15, Article 16 and Article 16 sub class 4. So we are focusing on inclusive development and inclusive growth. So these concept is also given in our fundamental rights. And next one is we have to focus on this national rehabilitation policy. So the government of India has formulated national rehabilitation policy to provide welfare measures, and even government is focusing on women empowerment. So because of this, we have National Commission for Women and National Council for Empowerment of Women, and there are a number of schemes came up by the government focusing on skilling of women. And this one is government is also focusing on this reservation policy for scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and recently OBCs also, and economically backward classes also. And government also launched this MG Narega scheme, which is providing 100 days of guarantee employment for unskilled work in rural areas. Okay, so these are some important things that you have to remember regarding this inclusive growth. And next topic is about unemployment. So if you see the data, official data of unemployment, which says that a decline in national unemployment rate from 6.1% to 3.2%. So this is official data which is saying, but you know and me know about reality and practicality, right? So if you see details, it says that despite a decline in overall unemployment rate, especially highly educated youth, they are facing disproportionate challenges. For example, to secure employment and to remain a consistent structural issue in the India's economy. So after completing graduation, so we are not getting job opportunities, yes or no? So how many of you have completed graduation? So please let me know. And this analysis, it is from 1993, 1994 to 2022 to 2023. So this data which says that individuals with higher education, they face consistently higher unemployment rates. Okay, so education, okay, so even you are having higher education, you are facing lot of unemployment rates. So young graduates who are aged between 18 to 29 years, they are coming up with this high unemployment rates, and around 36% you are facing this long spells of unemployment in 2017 to 18, and it had been declined to 27% in 2022 to 2023. And these are the some things, and you have to see like what can be the measures taken to improve this employment opportunities for these graduates. So please let me know your perspectives in the comment box. Don't forget about this. And I want to introduce about this daily means answering course. So already we have launched this on this 25th December. And you can join within this 10 days so that you can get the admission into this course. So here we are going to cover entire your GS part from GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4. along with essay and case study. So we are going to give you weekly targets, minimum targets. So if you are spending like 1 hour or 1.5 hour daily, so you can complete that weekly targets. So based on that, you will be getting daily one question. So you have to write answer for that question. You have to send it for evaluation. So your answer will be evaluated and you will be getting the detailed feedback, like what you have written, so what can be added, what can be deleted, so how can you increase presentation, so whether you can add a flow chart or a map or everything. So we will be giving you detailed feedback. So based on that, your feedback you can improve, and you will be having live class, a weekly one live class. Okay, so there we will be discussing about the strategies and how to write an essay, how to write case study, and some important mains topics. Okay, that will be very useful because it will be like a two-way interaction, so that you can improve your communication skills also. So that's all. And if you can't pay this amount of 8,200 in one go, you can pay in 2 installments. And if you want to talk to me regarding that course, you can call me on this number 8074765513. Even this is WhatsApp number, you can contact me on WhatsApp also. Okay, so that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. So if you like this class, please hit the like button and don't leave the class without hitting the like button. And please do subscribe to Rathods IAS Academy. Thank you so much for watching.